I got the diagnosis and then immediately went and got my fertility specialist. So I didn't have her before the diagnosis.
Hmm.
So I got her, and she has had other patients like me. So I felt very comfortable.
Amazing.
I mean, not a lot, but I mean, she didn't look at me like I had two uteruses, and she looked at me like,
I think it's no secret that I love the Little Words Project bracelets. I have about 6 or 7 on my arm, ones that have been given to me, ones I've bought myself. I love giving them as gifts. I think they're so inspirational for me personally. They're nice little reminders throughout my day to have hope, to be, have strength, to be in good energy. I just love the bracelet. For 15% off your first order. Kelsey, welcome to Quiet the Clock. I am so excited to have this conversation with you. I think our audience is going to learn so much. And just to share a little bit, you had reached out to me, which I'm so grateful you had, through TikTok. And you had reached out sharing with me that you had one video in particular go like super, super viral. And you're like, this says to me that people need to know more about what I posted about. So I'd love to start there to share here what that post was, and the response that you got from it.
yeah, I posted this simple post. I was at my annual getting my pap smears. So, and
Yours.
I smears plural.
Yes.
And didn't even think about, like, I was just like, it took me 2 seconds to think about, and then I just hit post, and it went like completely beyond anything I could ever think of.
Wow, that's wild to think about that. Like you didn't even really put too much thought into it. You're kind of just sharing this like moment and it goes viral.
Yeah, I think I'm at like 4.4 million views right now, and it's still, I get thousands of likes and comments still every day, and I posted that back in June.
Wow. So tell me about that when you started to see the like comments coming in, maybe questions being asked, maybe people sharing. Well, tell everybody kind of your diagnosis.
Yeah, I should start out with that. I was diagnosed with two uteruses and two cervixes back in December of last year. So we had been trying to conceive for about 6 months. And then my doctor was like, let's just get a baseline ultrasound just to see like if there's anything going on, why you're not conceiving. And so then I went to get the ultrasound, and the tech was like, I don't know what's going on. She like wouldn't tell me anything, which I know
Did you
that
kind of get a
they have.
sense like something's up? I always feel like, and you probably like when you're in those, when you're doing the ultrasounds, you're trying to read the technician and be like, is it good? Is it what's happening? What are they thinking? What's you're like, I'm just always trying to like, just
Oh yeah,
read what they're
I
doing.
like give me like a little smirk, give me something to know that I am not dying right now.
Yeah.
I'm so um but it came back inconclusive. So then I had to get an MRI, and then the MRI is what showed that I had the two uteruses.
Wow. What I'm curious about, and I'm trying to think back, my gosh, like, and you probably feel this way too, like through my fertility journey, just doing this podcast, having so many conversations with women, it's like there's so much we don't know about our bodies. There's so much we don't know about our fertility. And I'm trying to think back of like just regular, OB appointments. Like, should this have been something they found sooner?
I mean, whenever I was in my early 20s, I had a doctor. I was living in Charleston, South Carolina, and she was just doing my annual exam. And she was like, I don't like the way that feels. And of course, I'm like, what? Like, you never want to hear that whenever
Mhm.
somebody is doing an exam like that on you. And so she went and got her colleague, which was another doctor. He did the exam, and he's like, yep, whenever you want to try to have kids, let us know. You may have issues, but if you're not there right now, then it is what it is. And like I never followed up. I should have followed up, but like they never told me a diagnosis. They never told me like this is what it is. Like, I don't know. I was 20 and naive.
No, I know, and it kind of like I don't love hearing you say I should have. I think what's so hard, but in the reality, a lot of the burden falls on us, and you're probably feeling this as you continue to navigate your fertility journey. Like a lot of the burden falls on us to advocate, to be knowledgeable enough to know the questions to ask. But to be fair to you as a 20-year-old, like it's hard to do that, and probably far from thinking about babies and fertility, but I feel like the onus is on the doctors to just be informing us.
I know. I know. And then I kept going to her for 7 more years, and never once did she bring it back up. And I don't blame her. I don't think that this is her. But so I was like, maybe like that was just like a fluke, or like maybe like I don't know what she saw back then, but 7 years later, I still haven't heard anything about it. So I think I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys start to try.
Yeah, even I moved back to Ohio where I'm at right now, and I got a new doctor. And so I was like, maybe this new doctor will say something. And even then she didn't say anything either.
How rare is this, or is this? I mean, you got a lot of responses. I'm curious to hear more about that. But do a lot of women experience this? Have two uteruses, or is this is this pretty rare?
0.3%. And I swear every person who has it has messaged me on TikTok at this point. So, I mean, it's not common. It's very, very rare. But I think I know everyone around the world, like
Probably by
from
now, 4.4 million people reached out to you. So that, yeah, yeah.
Africa, the UK, the Netherlands. Like, it has been so amazing and so fun connecting with these women who we don't have anything in common, but like we share this very rare genetic.
Very rare. So I'm curious too, for some of these women that you've connected with and share this diagnosis, did they have a similar experience where it went undiagnosed for so long, or it wasn't communicated to them? And then did they also find themselves trying for a family and then discovered the two uteruses?
Yeah. Oddly enough, I feel like a lot of them, they found out like while they were pregnant or maybe after they had their baby. So they didn't, I feel like a lot of them found out like later on, like they were able to conceive perfectly fine, whereas others are also struggling like me, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what to do, and it's just not talked about. So like everyone has who has it has like they're like, I've never met anyone else like me. I know I was so embarrassed by it whenever I shouldn't be embarrassed by it at all. So that's why I like wanted to just start to spread the word.
Oh my God. Isn't that a beautiful thing though? It's like the second someone is vulnerable enough, like you're so brave. First of all, you're so brave. I'm so impressed by everybody like shares real time their journeys. It's like I take my hat off to that. It's such a vulnerable thing, and I share my journey as well, but I do not do it in real time. So I think it is extremely brave and vulnerable.
I don't know how I couldn't do it in real time. I think I would get in my head too much about the post or something. And that's why I'm just like, I need to post. Obviously, it's like, it could be a day, it could be a few hours, but it's still, I do post in real time.
Yeah, I mean, but you and I, as I shared, I was stalking your Instagram. I mean, your TikTok, and I mean, you do capture really raw emotion. Like it's really like real, very real.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because it's so not my personality either. Like anyone who knows me in real life and like knew that I was starting this TikTok, they're like, there's no way, like you're so quiet. Like I don't share like a lot of things,
Oh
but
my God, you would never. I mean, not knowing you, but just kind of knowing you through your page, like I wouldn't think that of you. Again, it's like a very brave and vulnerable thing to do. Like you're doing it.
the girls that I've met on there and like the community and the support, I'm sure you can relate to. Like it
Yeah.
is just, it's a sense of something that you don't have in like your everyday real life. So
Yeah.
like them and just talking to like women like you, and I don't know.
No, I know. I think there is so much to be said for the support in the community and the relatability. I mean, we of course, like I'm sure everybody has close friends and family, and but if they haven't been through the things that we go through, it's much harder to relate. It's much harder to connect. So, okay,
Yeah.
you get this diagnosis, and how did you instantly like go back to that moment in the doctor's office 7 years prior? How many, and think like, oh, wait, is this connected?
Yeah. I immediately, I called my mom and I was like, this was something because she obviously knew. And I, I didn't turn to Google. I turned to TikTok, which was also another reason why I started the TikTok, because I wanted to like just see if there was like anyone else out there like me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Google, read about it, I can inform myself and educate myself, but I just wanted to like know I wasn't alone in this. So that is another reason why I started the TikTok and like I post so much about it. But my husband was like, "You have what? Like, come
So,
again?"
yeah. So I think you mentioned earlier it's genetic. Is that right?
It was just how I was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a rare thing that you're born with. And then a lot of women also do only have one kidney. So whenever you're developing, your whole renal system is developing with the reproductive system.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to go and get an ultrasound, and I do have two.
You have
So
two
at
kidneys.
least I got,
Okay.
yeah.
And so what does that mean for these might be silly questions, but the point of this is being like way more informed by this because before you reaching out to me, I really didn't know anything about this. I know about women that don't have uteruses, like, but I never knew that a woman could have two. This is why I'm again grateful you've reached out.
Yeah.
You need two pap smears.
Mm-hmm. Two pap smears, which I am 33 years old. And so I just got my left one pap smeared for the first time in my life,
Oh.
which I was so scared about because I'm so good about going every year, every 3 years, whatever I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so worried, like I've gone all of these years without it being tested for cervical cancer. Like, what are they going to find? Came back fine.
Oh, good. Okay.
Um, yeah. So, and then I also can't wear tampons.
Really?
You think, yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay. How does all the anatomy work then? Like, when you are pregnant, I'm going to say when you are pregnant, like, which uterus is? How does I don't know. I don't even know how to ask the questions. Like, what uterus does it grow in?
so I know it's amazing. We have been doing, I've done two IUIs this past 6 months, and we actually did those in my left uterus,
Okay.
but because the eggs in my left side were growing better, they were
Okay.
like bigger, the follicles. But my right uterus is a lot bigger than my left uterus.
Okay.
So whenever I'm going through IVF now, we're
I
going
know.
to go in the right uterus.
Okay. And then explain why you can't use tampons.
So I bleed out of both.
Ah.
So if you think of it like there's like your vaginal canal,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have
Two.
uteruses that go the canal. And so I still, my left one apparently is like, I don't know, farther away. So in high school, I would always bleed but if I was wearing a tampon, and I just didn't know like why or what was going on. But now I realize it's because I'm bleeding from both and it's not situated where it needs to be,
Because
I guess.
I just lost you for a second. Okay. Oh, because like
Okay.
both linings are shedding.
Yes.
Okay. This is also interesting to me. Going through, I froze my eggs at 37. I had my son at 40. So going through those two things, I still knew so little about my body and cycle and all of these things. So, but still just two ovaries, two fallopian tubes, but two.
Yeah.
Okay. And so like
Yeah.
one tube is going, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And so every time I get an ultrasound, oh my goodness, my ultrasound tech, I get the same girl every time. I love her. And she thinks that I am like so fascinating. And so she just doing the ultrasound, like it takes obviously extra work to go from like one side to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Able to see my ovaries and see everything she needs to see.
And what about, pregnancy? Because what you shared is some of the women that have reached out to you on TikTok have not had issue getting pregnant. Other women have had a harder time. So what is it
Yeah.
about having two uteruses that will make it harder?
The size of my uteruses are definitely smaller than the average.
Okay.
So, or keeping a baby like full term is definitely going to be an issue for me. I will automatically be high risk. I'll have to go to the high risk doctors right off, straight from the fertility doctor.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, I think it's more of whenever I ovulate, like which side ovulates and how the sperm meets that side.
Ah, I see. I see.
Yeah.
And so, gosh, I can't imagine the range of emotions. I mean, just to even be trying for 6 months and not having success and then going in and finding this out, sort of, how did you move through all of that? How did you sort of take in this diagnosis, this news, on top of already, going through trying to start your family and it not being successful?
I just immediately tried to look for success stories. I think that was my biggest, just positive, like keeping some type of positivity, because all I heard was just like negative
Mm,
success. Like I joined a group on Facebook. It's a group, it's about 2,000 of us. And so I just like spent a day like reading everyone's success stories. Obviously, there's a lot of sadness and grief on there as well, too, with a lot of losses, but just trying to stay as positive. Even my doctor is like, you are so positive. Like, you really try to look at the glass half full.
I know. I mean, I think that's incredible and amazing. And especially through these types of journeys, it's almost necessary sometimes to keep being able to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah, right,
So,
right. Yeah, yeah. So you get this diagnosis, then do you guys continue to try? Do you feel like, okay, I now have more information, maybe I have some answers, maybe I have some guidance. Do you guys then take that and continue to try? Is that when you then did the IUIs?
so I got the diagnosis and then immediately went and got my fertility specialist. So I didn't have her before the diagnosis.
Hmm.
So I got her, and she has had other patients like me. So I felt very comfortable.
Amazing.
Um, I mean, not a lot, but I mean, she didn't look at me like I had two uteruses, and she looked at me like I was just normal and she could get me pregnant. So we started some medicated cycles with letrozole,
Hmm.
just 4 months, and that is our first one worked, and that's whenever I had my chemical pregnancy in February.
Mm,
I
I'm
know,
so
but I
sorry.
like the first time it worked, and we were so excited. But I think it ended around 5 weeks.
Yeah. Gosh, that's why I say the vulnerability to post real time, because there's a lot of lows in these journeys. It's not all happiness.
Mm.
And then I've also, to share with you, have had two miscarriages now. And so it's like one being a chemical pregnancy, and it's like this high of you're pregnant, and then the loss is so hard.
So hard. You get so excited, and like your emotions, like just to see like the positive pregnancy test is just.
Yeah.
But
And so
then
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I did the two IUIs, and then the first one, once again, another chemical. Um, but it was in my left uterus. So I think that I don't know. I think personally that my left uterus just might not be able to carry. So that's why we're going to try for the right.
So now you guys are moving on to IVF.
Yes, I did. We started stems. So we'll hopefully get my egg retrieval done in the next couple weeks
Oh my
after my,
God.
I know.
How are you feeling about all of that?
Oh my gosh. Emotions are everywhere. I never, of course, thought that this day would come, like whenever I found out about the diagnosis, I said IVF would be our last resort. And like now we're at our last resort, and it's so scary, but also I'm like hopeful in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, right? The same as the positivity is like, it's so you get it because you're through. It's hard to explain like the power of the hopefulness, and just even when there's like roadblocks or loss, that's like, for me it's waned a little bit, and then it comes like right back and like very strong, like this real hope and like belief. To your point, like
Yeah.
what else are we supposed to do? Like we have either we can sit in it and really like be hopeless, or we can try to be hopeful.
Yeah. She's my doctor. I mean, she's let me know that this is definitely our best chance of success. So that is what I'm holding on hope for. And hopefully we have healthy embryos and can make a baby.
Oh, I know. I'm hopeful. So hopeful for you.
Oh,
What have you
thank
learned through your journey and posting, and what maybe have you learned from this community that you've built? Like, what are some like amazing takeaways or things that you've learned about yourself through all of this?
I like I said earlier, like this is so out of character for me to post this. Like even like my family, they're like, you are a completely different person. Like you posting all of these like feelings and like they've just seen me grow and grow, and I've seen it in myself as well too. Like that is one big takeaway. Also, I've like developed this like group of friends, like we text all day every day, like
Oh,
that pregnant, like the other one's going through her IUIs right now. It's just like we're able to like have like talk about our actual feelings that like we all kind of understand and can relate to. So that is a huge takeaway because I don't know what I would do without them.
yeah. There's just so much power in the relatability and the support. I mean, I've found for myself, particularly after like miscarriage, it's like the only people I really want to talk to is the people that have been through that and understand that. So that community is so huge. You did a
No, I
post, sorry, you did a post, speaking of like kind of this group and seeing where people are at in different stages, and someone is pregnant, someone's IUI, you're starting IVF. You did a post, I think it was like, it's like treat me like normal, but it was kind of like everyone's sharing the news about someone being pregnant and they're not telling you. And how has it been for you to watch other people be able to have those announcements? Or, you know, what we talk about a lot about on here in all contexts, like partnership, career, is comparison. And has that come up
mhm.
for you as you navigate your own fertility journey?
It of course I am at the age right now where even if my friends don't have kids, they are all having kids or um I think I had 3 baby showers that I was supposed to go to in August. Like have I can be so hopeful and so excited for the person who just found out they were pregnant, but of course it's going to hurt. It's going to sting, but I try to just protect my own feelings and just be there for them as much as I can, but not also make it about me. So like I'm not going to any baby showers at all. I am just trying to I am gonna go meet my friend just had a baby, so I am gonna go meet him in a couple weeks whenever she's
Okay.
ready. But like I can support in ways where I don't have to physically be there and see it. And just if so, like if that post was just in regards to like not like making me feel different, I guess, than
Yeah,
anyone
that's it. Yeah, making me feel different.
want to feel like yeah, I want to know like whenever you tell everyone else, like I don't want to be like left out just because I'm going through this.
Yeah, and I think there's another post you did. This brings up another thought for me, is like for people that aren't in these communities, or I guess in this, you know, camp that no one wanted to be in or didn't plan on being in. For people that are not in that and haven't experienced that, it's like, how do you support someone through it? You know, and I
Yeah.
think you did another post on that of like, and that comes up a lot where, you know, maybe certain things are well-intentioned, like maybe they're not telling you at the same time because they want to be protective and they don't want to hurt your feelings, but sort of the result of that is your feelings get hurt anyway because you want to be treated the same. And I think there's just this disconnect where people just don't know what we need or how to support us. That's come up a lot in conversation on the podcast. What would you say to people that aren't in this camp, that haven't lived this, that really don't, you can't understand the nuances of it if you're not in it, but do want to support and maybe sort of trip themselves up along the way trying to do it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And even like juggling, like even my family, like they don't know how to support me either. Like they see me struggling, but they don't get it. Like my parents, they try and ask me how I feel, but I think just communication, of course, is always the best. Ask the person who's going through these things like how they want you to handle it. Like if you want to see pictures of a newborn baby, if you want to be invited to the baby showers, but I feel like it's just like such like a gloved thing. Like it's so difficult for, I don't know, for like, I feel like everyone's different. But
Yeah.
if it was me, like I want to be involved as much as possible. And I want to be the one who decides if I can go to that baby shower or if I can do whatever. But I want like I want to have like the final decision. I don't want that decision made for me.
Yeah. I think people, well, I see this I'm a therapist, so I see this in my work a lot where we're afraid or we live in avoidance. And I think that when things are difficult or uncomfortable, people want to avoid them and they don't, to your point, like want to communicate around them. So I think that is so hugely important, is to ask the questions, is to communicate with whoever in your life is going through something difficult, and then also respecting how they want to be supported. I think where I've seen things arise is when people maybe want space and they don't really want so much support in a way where like we're together and we're, spending time together, where people may, I think sometimes it's hard for loved ones to understand sort of that need for space or boundaries.
Yeah.
Have you
No, I totally.
have you experienced that?
And I think that they take silence as like a bad thing whenever I think that silence can be a good thing, especially in this world that we're living in. So like maybe if I'm not as communicative or with the friend or the family member, like I need just time for myself. I think it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Or
I,
a little bit of space.
yeah, I agree. And I think even sometimes I feel like, and I'll speak personally, like sometimes the responsibility has been on me to be the communicator in just sharing with my friends, like, hey, I'm like, I just need a minute. I'm taking the space and letting them know and sort of like helping them manage the expectation of my presence or lack of presence. For me, when I've had loss, I kind of like cocoon to myself, to my partner, and like maybe text a couple people that have been through this, and then sort of like, unfortunately, it's been a cycle, but then you kind of come out of that and you can slowly sort of like let some people back in. But I feel like sometimes the onus has been on me to communicate that like that's what's happening, and just give me a minute and I'll come back out of my hole when I'm ready.
Yeah, I think that is key. Like take your time and then whenever you are ready, do whatever you can.
Yeah. How has your partner felt about you sharing so openly,
Yeah.
so in real time? Again, very vulnerable. It's his story too.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't watch. He doesn't he actually doesn't even have TikTok. So, but I send him basically everything that I post. He has been amazing through
Oh,
everything.
that's great.
Luckily he's not on a big like time clock as well. So he does not like want a baby like yesterday. So that has been great. His family has been great about it as well too. I think both of our families. But he is like the peace and the comfort that I need, and like
Oh,
silliness, like just like the things that like keeps us going. Like we can both laugh about it and cry and
That's
just
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So he doesn't feel up against the clock, and you obviously know the title of this podcast is Quiet the Clock.
Yeah.
Which, because when you
Yeah.
do feel up against the clock, there's so much stress and pressure. Do you at all feel like up against a clock?
Like if I were to look back and think like at 33, I would have thought that by now I would have had a child or a couple even, but like where I'm at in my life, I don't feel like I'm up against the clock right now. Like just, I mean, we just got married. It'll be 2 years in December, so we've just been trying to enjoy it. I know this past year has not really been in that much fun, but
Yeah.
I don't feel it yet. I do think I like if a couple years go by and we still don't have a baby, I do think I could probably start to feel it, but
Well, I'm glad you're not there yet, and you do sound like somebody that tries to be really hopeful and really positive, and hopefully you're not in a situation where you do start to feel that.
yeah, I do feel, which is also a little thing that I've noticed on TikTok, is I am like one of the older ones on TikTok in my group of friends or in like my followers, like they're all maybe late 20s, early 30s,
Yeah, it's so
which
this social media stuff is like it's so interesting. I mean, I love it for reasons like this, like to be connected with you and other amazing guests I've had on here. I have someone. I'm fortunate to have somebody that like helps. Like she runs it. You know, I'm way
yeah.
old, um, but it's just interesting, like the demographic on TikTok versus who's on social media, and but you know, what's so beautiful about. I mean, so many beautiful things about what you're doing is it's refreshing to hear that younger women are seeing your content because I think
Yeah,
we all should have known sooner what our fertility health is.
1000%. One of the biggest takeaways from the viral post is like anatomy has failed so many people that they like the questions are just they were insane.
I
Like
bet.
just like where we are, like we need to be able to like teach our kids like what anatomy is and what a uterus is and actually what a pap smear is. The amount of questions that I got from women asking what pap smears were, I was,
Wow.
and maybe they are in a different country or maybe they're teenagers, I don't know, but I feel like that's a pretty known thing.
Yeah, you've educated a lot of people. What's amazing about the
Yeah.
sharing too is it motivates others to be then they are empowered to advocate or go into their gynecologist and like, can you make sure that I don't have this or can we do this or I need the pap smear. So it's interesting,
Yeah.
like you shared, like you went to TikTok for information. You went to TikTok to find somebody else that might share your diagnosis. And while
Hmm.
it's amazing that we have these platforms and resources, there's yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot more we need to do elsewhere, you know, for kids to understand this a lot sooner.
I totally agree. That is half of the reason I keep doing this.
Yeah, well, I think it's so incredible. I'm
Oh,
curious because
thank
I know for myself personally, like there's so much more I've explored outside of just traditional like Western medicine. And I think you started I think I saw that you started acupuncture. Um, and I think you also stopped drinking. And is that right? Like, are
you.
there
Yep. No alcohol, no caffeine. The amount of vitamins I take a day is insane. Um, I do acupuncture once a week, and so like Chinese medicine versus Western medicine, I'm sure as you know, are two completely different types of medicine.
totally different? Yeah, totally different.
My acupuncturist has never even heard of somebody with two uteruses, so she loves me and she is like doing her own research. She is doing everything she can. I get a new herb, a new tea every time I leave
That's
there.
amazing.
Yeah. I it is just it's so good for your mental health and your stress and fertility, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing too. It's like, and all the research I've done is like how our fertility health is indicative of our overall health. So without understanding our fertility health, we're really not have a full picture of our overall health. And through my journey, I've discovered a lot of things that needed, addressing. Like I have thyroid issues, I have Hashimoto's, I had like high copper, like all of these things. And so I started to look at it. It's like, okay, there's this silver lining of like, had none of this happened to me, I would have never discovered half of these things.
That is, and I haven't done therapy for about a month or so, but that is one thing that my therapist did tell me. She's like, at least like look at you're getting healthy, you're finding out all these things, these underlying like all of these things that you're doing are not bad things. They're all to make you better and healthier. And so I have to look at it like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, she sounds like a good therapist.
I haven't seen her in a few weeks.
How outside of therapy? Yeah, that's a good segue to sort of the mental health piece. How do you take care of your emotional mental health?
My mental health is kind of all over the place. I've always struggled with anxiety, especially health anxiety, being one of my main things. So,
Really?
Yeah. So this on top of like starting a new medication is like so difficult for me. But so now I'm starting all of these injections and just I am medicated, so it's helping.
Okay.
But yeah, my anxiety it has its moments.
Yeah. Is there anything like you specifically do that helps your anxiety? Because you're not alone in feeling anxious, especially, compounded by fertility journey, right? Where it provokes a lot of anxiety. I'm sure there are a lot of people listening that struggle just like you do.
Yeah, it sounds silly. Someone told me this trick a while ago. It's like to keep an album of like happy pictures in your phone. So like whenever I am feeling those anxious moments, like I'm able, instead of just like scrolling through TikTok or social media or things that tend to make it worse, I'm able to just kind of ground myself and look at my pictures that I have in my album, which I know sounds so silly,
No,
but
that's not
it
silly at
helps.
all. No, nothing
Yeah.
is silly. I mean, yeah, nothing is silly, especially if it's something that helps. But that is such a good grounding technique, right? It sort of probably helps get your brain back online and focused on
Yeah.
all the things that are good.
And I think I used to be so embarrassed to let people know, like, if I was feeling anxious, but for me to like if I'm anxious at the doctor's office, to tell the assistant or to tell whoever I can, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now, just to let people know. And then somehow that calms me down a little bit too.
Yeah, because it's like there's no shame around feeling that, right? It's like you get to honor how you actually feel and not try to hide it or feel bad about feeling it.
Yeah. It's probably labeled in my chart at this point, like not to tell me what you're going to do next. Like I just need her to not explain, just to do things. And they do, and it works.
Yeah, and that's part of having a voice in your own care, right? Is letting them know those things.
Yeah.
So lots of followers, lots of views. You do have some reels, or is it a reel on TikTok? I don't even. Is it still called a reel?
I don't know.
I don't either. Anyway, a video, whatever.
Yeah.
I imagine you've gotten some crazy comments, or you did a post about a kind of pretty shitty comment you got. What are some really sort of out of touch comments you've gotten?
The first one that comes to mind is somebody called me a duplex, which honestly is kind of funny now. I mean, that's clever, but like just like thinking like, where does that even come from? Like, that's where your mind goes. A lot of comments. I wouldn't say a lot. A few comments about chemical pregnancies not being miscarriages, which we both know that is not true.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this one person was going off about how it was just mucus and cells, and I'm crying for likes, and how everyone in the community in that community, we only get on there for likes and views, and
I mean,
their
God, oh my God.
their account got deleted really quick.
Good. Good.
What was another? Just a lot of anatomy questions. I think just men asking like perverted things that they should not be asking.
Oh God.
A lot of misconceptions that people think that I'm like super fertile. Everyone was like, "Oh, give me one of your uteruses," and so I think that's a huge misconception.
Yeah. Wow.
But the duplex, and I don't even know who it was. I think that was one of the best ones.
Oh my God. I guess to your point, clever, but also like, what does that say about
Like,
this person? I don't know.
I know. Like, where did you come up with that?
Yeah. Gosh. What have
There
you?
hasn't been too many bad ones about IVF besides the one that I posted, which
Oh my God.
I know that it is a controversial subject. I don't even know if it is these days. Whatever. But
I don't know. I just feel like I kind of just, again, the platforms, like understanding why people get on and say shitty things or hurtful things, or like what kind of person has time to do that or wants to do that, and is always
I
kind
know
of like amazes me.
I will never understand. Could never be me.
Yeah. What are some things that you, and I'm sure you've shared on your platform, but like want to share here with women, maybe thinking about fertility treatments, thinking about IVF, whether it's like, your relationship with your doctor, feeling comfortable with your doctor, like what is it, something that like a few things that you would pay forward to other people?
Honestly, going back to the whole birth control thing, I got on birth control at age 12 for my periods and acne. I feel like just a lot like everyone else did. That was like the band-aid on top of whatever problem you were having. And
Yeah.
I would have wore to have known like that masks, like all of my symptoms, my hormones, like I was on it for 20 years.
Oh my God.
Like I would have gotten off of it so much longer, like ago. So that is one big regret, is like not looking into like the chemicals and the birth control and what it's actually doing to your body and what symptoms like it's masking. And so that is one thing I would hopefully
Yeah.
girls are not just taking it like I was and not thinking twice about it.
Well, a lot of us were. That was sort of just, and it's sort of kind of the overarching theme of the podcast, which is like these societal norms and expectations and narratives. It's like you just do this. Like you're of this age, you get on birth control. Like you're of this age,
Yep.
you should be married and having kids. And it's just not that way. But it's because it's so ingrained in us, it leaves little room to sort of like question and like push back on, well, why do I need birth control? Like, is this healthy for me? And I think there's so many of us that just didn't know to even question that. They didn't even know
Yeah.
that it would impact our hormones or mask symptoms, like you said. I think in a lot of ways, even if certain symptoms you present for, they're like, okay, birth control.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor wanted to put me on birth control because we were supposed to start a round of IVF this past month, and she wanted me to get on birth control simply for the fact to get on their like calendar schedule. And I was like, not going to do
Yeah.
it. Not going to do it. Like, why would I do that? So it's, yeah, I think being informed enough to push back and ask questions is so important. And again, I love that you have younger women watching your stuff, because hopefully that equips them to do that, or at least go to their annuals with more questions.
Yeah. And if something doesn't feel right, like go to get a second opinion. I should have done that. I wish I would have back in my 20s, but
I know. We just
like
don't
trust
know.
your gut.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think often I had this conversation with another guest about like our intuition and our gut, and how often we don't listen to it. And I I think doctors sort of have these positions of like authority or superiority because they have the knowledge, they
Mm-hmm.
have the training. And so even though we have this sort of like gut instinct, we're kind of like, oh, all right, but the doctor says this.
Yeah.
Yeah, advocating, pushing. Gosh.
And like the younger girls, like finding out just like basics about like your thyroid levels or your AMH. Like those are like just like key things to for like fertility. I think I was listening to a podcast where they were saying like women in their 20s are like that's where they're like recommending the egg freezing now. Like
Mm-hmm.
at like age 20, like, and after that it's like it's too late or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, I mean, those are sort of, yes, yes. I've had women in their 20s, like I had a 25-year-old come on and talk about her egg freezing experience. And I'm like, that's amazing that you're thinking you're this proactive about it. I think
yeah,
because we're sold these narratives of like, these things are just going to happen. Like you're just going to meet somebody and you're just going to get married and you're just going to have a baby. They're almost like communicated to us in a way of like, it's all going to fall into place. Like, don't even worry about it. So even for myself, I never thought to freeze my eggs because I was like, until I was 37, because I'm like, well, like
yeah,
all of these things will just line up and just happen. And it often for a lot of people, it doesn't.
I know. It's so weird how like one person goes through and like different ages and stages.
Yeah.
It's
Everybody's
crazy.
journey. Yeah. It's not linear and everybody's journey is different. So how
I
are
know.
you guys? So you started your stims, like sort of
Yeah.
what's the like mental game plan? How are you guys going through these next couple of weeks? How are you taking care of yourself?
I think I am a little too excited about it. I need to probably like not be so hopeful that this is going to work, but we're both taking our vitamins. We're both, he's not drinking coffee, not drinking alcohol either. So just taking these like next 2 weeks or however long it takes, just kind of like a wholesome getting our lives reset. And I am excited. I don't know why I'm so excited
Oh my
about it,
God,
but
just be in that. Just be in it.
I
Maybe
know.
it's like your intuition. Maybe just be in it.
She told me 60% success. Not on the first time, but I am going with that number and running with it at this
Run
point
with
because,
it. Think about
yeah,
what that optimism does for your body, for your nervous system. Like I would say just don't dim it down, like totally just be in it.
yeah, I'm ready to take on these injections and I am like I've been waiting since July. So I have been like mentally getting myself ready. I knew I was not ready to start in August, and then I had a few setbacks with insurance and longer cycles. So like I feel like everything is just working out to where I needed it to be.
I love it. It all like if we take the pressure off and just kind of let it all fall into place. Yeah, I noticed that on your post that you have these longer. Is that normal for you? These longer cycles?
I mean, who knows? I birth control masked it for 20 years, so I've been off of it now for over a year and a few months, and they're still not normal from. So who knows? But
Yeah,
yeah, I think normal now. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for your platform, for sharing, for reaching out to me because, yeah, we want to know. We want to be more informed. And this is part of the intention of the podcast is like we need all the information that we can get. And you are helping so many people by sharing your story.
Thank you for allowing me, and thank you for giving your voice too. I have learned so much from you and your podcast.
Oh.
I episode, so thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And I will be thinking of you, but we will be staying in touch because I will be watching you, but like personally staying in touch because I want to know how everything goes. Hi, everyone. It's Beth, your favorite therapist, or at least I hope I am, and host of Quiet the Clock. I am so excited to share the secret of my glowing skin with all of you. Lumine Face Pro. This amazing device has completely transformed my skin, and I've noticed a real difference in tone and texture in such a short amount of time. Lumine Face Pro uses advanced microcurrent technology to gently stimulate your facial muscles, promoting collagen production and improving skin elasticity. I mean, amazing. The device is also equipped with LED light therapy, which helps reduce wrinkles and fine lines and promotes cell regeneration. Hello, so perfect for this 43-year-old mama. I need every ounce of this. With regular use, Lumine Face Pro can help you achieve a smoother, brighter, and more even skin tone. It's so easy to use and safe on any skin type. Invest in your skin and experience the difference with Blue Mean Face Pro. Visit bluemean.com today to learn more and order yours. Use the code QTC at checkout to get $30 off your first order. I mean, what a deal. $30 off your first order. I hope you guys run to bluemean.com and get yours and love it as much as I do. Hey guys, I'm Beth. Thank you so much for tuning in to Quiet the Clock. If you want to hear more episodes and learn more about how to dismantle societal timelines, live life on your own terms, live life fully and authentically, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and you can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Quiet the Clock Pod. You guys, I'm really excited. We just created all this amazing merch. And so if you're loving the podcast and you want to support our cause and continue to hear amazing episodes, please support us by buying some merch. I am living in these sweatshirts every day. We have a range of colors. We have hoodies, we have mugs, we have hats, we have journals. We have all of the things. And I love having them on because it's just a reminder to quiet the clock, to slow down, to like let life unfold and be happy. So there's meaning and purpose behind wearing it too, which is a nice reminder. So check out our website, quiettheclock.com, to get your merch.